In this world, even the falling rain doesn't fall in the wrong place, so no one we meet is by chance. This is exactly true for the girl Shishi in the movie I bring to you today. She is an ordinary girl, a broke girl starting her career. Except for her mother who truly loves her, every member of her family is a money lover. Because heaven does not treat anyone unfairly, Shishi is inherently kind-hearted. Her unpretentious personality has serendipitously caused two domineering CEOs to fall in love with her. Unintentionally caught in a 3-month marriage contract for money, she has to make a trade-off. But perhaps thanks to that accidental contract, her entire life changes. No more beating around the bush. Let's see how the girl named Gu Shishi makes two domineering CEOs fall for her. Can the roadside weed reach the high clouds? To enjoy this moment and sneak into the party all night, the beautiful girl named Gu Shishi pretends to be the girlfriend of a domineering CEO. While secretly laughing at how she uses 100% of her brain, the CEO already knows all her tricks. In Si-chin doesn't rush to expose her but playfully asks Gu Shishi to guess his profession. A dapper and expensive suit, good taste, doesn't like to socialize, cold as ice without showing off. Could be a high-ranking leader, a rapper, a gangster, or maybe a picky Virgo born in September. In Si-chin finds her guesses amusing and highly praises her. Then he asks her about the man standing above. Gu Shishi realizes that the man who organized tonight's party, Alex, is also her target today. Gu Shishi runs an online store. Today, the perfect timing and place, a VIP customer ordered a wedding dress by Alex. But Alex only makes 12 wedding dresses a year, very hard to buy. However, the generous customer promptly deposited 60 billion. The sum allows her to meet Messi and Fred, hugging each for 3 seconds. Just as Alex was hosting a nearby party, she quickly confirmed the order. To support her, her best friend paid for a luxury car rental for her to show up in style. That day, it suddenly rained heavily. To avoid pedestrians, Gu Shishi drove and crashed into a tree. She hurriedly got out to check if the man was hurt. Mozxin raised his head and looked at Gu Shishi. The moment she held the umbrella reminded him of a girl who helped him in a similar way when he was young. He felt she was like the girl he had been searching for all these years. After recovering from the shock, Mozxin offers to take her to her destination. In a rush, Gu Shishi agrees. Upon reaching the party venue, she gives her contact info to Mozxin. At that moment, to handle the accident aftermath conveniently, she hurriedly goes to the party but realizes she left her invitation in the luxury car earlier. While trying to figure out what to do, she sees a familiar figure in a stylish outfit. She approaches and pretends to be his companion. In Si-chen's purpose in coming here is also Alex. He purposefully shares Alex's preferences, aiding her in catching Alex's eye. While enhancing their interaction, a security guard unexpectedly approaches to check her invitation and escorts her out for questioning. She stays silent. The guard gives her 5 minutes to find a sponsor or he'll call the police for trespassing. In her panic, In Si-chen walks in and suggests she pretend to be his girlfriend to meet Alex and get the dress. At this point, Shishi realizes her attacker now targets others. Though bitter, she accepts, knowing that money is needed to play the game. In Si-chen takes out a sparkling necklace and puts it on her. The two then head to meet Alex. Alex is surprised to see the necklace on Gu Shishi, as it was the last piece designed by his late wife. After his wife passed away, he followed her wishes and auctioned the necklace. This fate increased the good feelings between the two and Alex, who invited Shishi to his new product launch press conference. He also asked her to be his final model, wearing the necklace to commemorate his late wife. Before the sweet deal could be finalized, In Si-chen hesitated for about 5 seconds before refusing Alex's request, citing his fake girlfriend's health. He only wanted to secure Alex's cooperation and didn't want things to get out of hand. He then took back the designer necklace, leaving Shishi shocked at his cunning, despite his stylish appearance. This ignited her fighting spirit. She wouldn't let him win that easily. She went to find the security, claiming her necklace was lost, forcing In Si-chen to explain. When she met Alex again, she expressed her desire to buy a wedding dress, and Alex happily agreed. Shishi walked away with a victorious smile, planning to share the good news with her friend at home, when she accidentally broke her heel and fell. In Si-chen saw this and caught her, leading to some gossip about their relationship. The next day, this news hit the top trending spot. Gu Shishi is seen as Cinderella marrying into wealth. Immediately after, her boyfriend calls, not wanting to hear any explanation, and instead of enjoying a meal together, he wants to end their relationship. Hearing this, she and her best friend go to find him, only to see him feeding another girl. He had already found someone new but claimed they were just very close friends with an innocent relationship. Caught red-handed, he blamed Gu Shishi's trending news, saying she is a money grabber. Unable to bear her bitterness, she tells him it's over. That night, at a bar with her friend, she aims to get drunk, unaware In Si-chen and his friend overhear everything nearby. In the evening, he and his friend go to the bar hoping to meet Shishi, but when he turns around and doesn't see her, he finds her unexpectedly sitting beside him. She is very drunk and mistakes him for her friend Chen Exian. She then starts badmouthing In Si Chen, calling him a heartless monster. The coldest place is not the Arctic but where there is no humanity, and he has destroyed everything she had. She stands up, shouting to the world, venting her anger, then drunkenly falls into In Si Chen's arms. Helpless, he can only call the manager for help. The next morning, she wakes to learn from her mother that her father invested their rent money, and it's her grandmother's birthday. Also, he booked a fancy 5-star restaurant for the celebration. Knowing her mother is stuck in a difficult position, she reassures her not to worry and promises to find a way to earn the rent money. She immediately goes to Alex to buy the wedding dress to earn money. At this moment, Alex reveals that his wedding dress brand will enter In Si Chen's market. Alex suggests that if they are a couple, In Si Chen would surely give her a wedding dress. She reluctantly returns, burdened by untold troubles. She sweetly approaches In Si Chen for help. As soon as she finishes, he immediately refuses. He flatly says Alex's wedding dresses aren't available until the brand enters the shopping center. Before he gets married, he might consider giving one to his wife, but that person is definitely not her. His arrogant demeanor infuriates Shishi, causing her to lose her cool. She angrily berates him, blaming him for the rumors and her inability to complete her order to earn money. Storming off in anger, she trips over her own shoelaces and falls. Seeing this, In Si Chen extends a hand to help her up. They both fall onto the sofa, their eyes meeting. Thinking it was a fateful encounter, they unexpectedly attend a press conference where Shishi is announced as In Si Chen's fiancée. The paparazzi immediately start flashing their cameras at him, making him reluctantly accept the spotlight and congratulations. The family was in debt and starving, yet the grandmother insisted on dining at a fancy restaurant. Before dining, the manager found a set of silverware missing. Gu Shishi suggested the family should check to see if anyone had mistakenly taken it, but her grandmother scolded her for implying that her family would steal. Her cowardly mother urged her to let it go, but Shishi insisted the manager call the police. Hearing this, the family's attitude changed, thinking it was just silverware not worth fussing over. Her father also suggested Shishi pay for the missing items. Shishi remained firm, insisting the manager call the police, just as Mozxin arrived. After hearing from the manager, he offered to cover the cost of the missing items. Shishi thanked him for his kindness but insisted this was not about money. Understanding her intention, he explained that stealing could lead to legal consequences, such as imprisonment. Upon hearing this, the family hurriedly returned the silverware. They blamed a mischievous nephew for hiding the items in his bag. Unexpectedly, Mozxin suggested gifting the silverware set to them as a present. While talking, In Si Chen arrived and took her away. He then sternly criticized her for seeking a wedding dress, causing Alex to misunderstand that they were engaged. Amidst her frustration, she received a call from her co-worker informing her that the customer ordering the wedding dress was In Si Chen. They went to confront each other, and the manager informed In Si Chen that Mozxin was also eyeing the Enjoy brand. Enjoy was a valuable brand of Alex's that In Si Chen wanted for his company. After deep consideration, In Si Chen devised a plan to have Shishi pose as his fiancée and promised to pay for her wedding dress. Desperately needing money for her mother's rent, Shishi reluctantly agreed. To quickly obtain the rights to the Enjoy brand, In Si Chen asked Shishi to model for the wedding dress brand. They used promotional photos to win Alex's favor. Dressed in the wedding dress, Shishi looked stunning, causing In Si Chen's heart to skip a beat. Alex appeared, snapping him back to reality. They watched the photo shoot together, with Alex seemingly very impressed by Shishi. He immediately announced In Si Chen would manage Enjoy. Without waiting for Alex to leave, Shishi told In Si Chen to let go of her hand. Having successfully obtained the dealership, he suggested celebrating with a meal. Unexpectedly, Shishi declined, saying she wanted to walk down the mountain on her own without his help. The long walk down the mountain in high heels proved to be very difficult for her. At that moment, In Si Chen arrogantly drove up in a G63, opened the door, and invited her to get in. He advised her not to act pretentious, then placed white shoes in the car. However, upon arriving at the restaurant, he handed her a check for a large amount, saying it was the fee for her service today. Gu Shishi refused, making him think she was ambitious and would do anything for money without any scruples. Furious, Shishi splashed a glass of water in his face and left. But this was all part of Si Chen's plan. He said those harsh words because he was afraid Shishi would fall in love with him. Life took another turn when Alex added a clause that their contract would only be valid if they stayed married for 3 months. With no other choice, Si Chen sought Shishi, asking her to marry him, promising an additional 60 billion if she agreed. Shishi thought he was crazy and left without looking back. Si Chen resorted to a dirty trick, having someone impersonate Alex's assistant. They called Shishi, stating the dress was non-returnable upon shipment and she had 3 days to pay the remaining amount. In this desperate situation, Shishi discovered who her true friends were, but none of them lent her any money. She turned to Mozxian for help, only to find he was away in the mountains studying. Left with no other options, Shishi went to see Chen to sign the contract, agreeing to let him handle the wedding dress issue. After 3 months, the marriage would automatically dissolve, and he would pay her in full. When her family heard she was getting married, her grandmother complained that a wedding without a proper dowry was ridiculous. She insisted on a dowry of at least 5 billion. Right after her tirade, Si Chen's assistant arrived with the dowry. The expensive gifts quickly changed her father's and grandmother's attitude, making them beam with joy. Only her mother genuinely worried that her daughter wouldn't be happy in this marriage. Meanwhile, Si Chen's childhood sweetheart, Ran Shiwei, was furious upon learning he was getting married and confronted him, questioning why he chose a girl of lower status. Shiwei believed only she was worthy of being with someone as outstanding as him, but Si Chen, uninterested, immediately showed her the door. In the blink of an eye, the wedding day arrived, and Si Chen's grandmother asked if he truly wanted to marry Shishi. Upon hearing his affirmative answer, she beamed with joy. She thanked Shishi for marrying her grandson and assured her that if he mistreated her, she would always support Shishi. With such kind words from his grandmother, Shishi felt her chaotic heart calm down. At the same time, Shiwei approached them, seemingly to offer her blessings, but whispered to Shishi that she would take back her life. Shishi felt very annoyed because the contract did not include fighting over him with a love rival. When did you fall in love with me? Don't talk nonsense. If you don't love me, don't claim there's a love rival. Feeling vexed, Shishi skipped away to talk to her friend. Even though it was just a marriage contract, Si Chen didn't skip any rituals. They exchanged rings, appearing amicable despite their true feelings. The guests applauded, but Shishi's mother worried about her daughter's future. Ran Shiwei, meanwhile, looked on with intense jealousy. During the evening reception, Shishi's mother quickly handed Si Chen a small note. She instructed him to treat her daughter well. Enclosed was a bank card with a message. Because of her own weakness, Shishi had suffered many injustices. Now she could escape the family she was born into. Her mother felt happy for her and hoped that he would allow her daughter to be free and persevere with her. She wished for Shishi's life not to be like hers. She hoped Shishi would persist in her dreams as before and do what she loved. The deep maternal affection in the silent note touched him greatly. Perhaps this fake marriage wasn't as unpleasant as he thought. Later, he found Shishi drunk in his room. Suddenly, she hugged her knees and cried bitterly. She lamented that Si Chen shouldn't have married her. She could have walked down that sacred aisle with someone she loved, not just a marriage contract. Seeing her so devastated made his heart ache. He wished he too could freely cry. But he always had to keep his feelings hidden. Perhaps he really was an emotionless person. After rambling, he looked down to find Shishi had fainted. She dragged him to bed, using him as a pillow, making his heart race. At dawn, when Shishi woke up, the first thing she checked was her clothes. Her action made Si Chen laugh. You clung to me last night. If I don't hug something, I can't sleep, and you won't let me go. Were you afraid I'd do something? I was just your helpless pillow. Don't think too much, she retorted. After cleaning up and changing, Si Chen took her to see the house where they would live together for the next 3 months. To avoid his grandmother's suspicion, they had to share a room. Meanwhile, Xian was frustrated, having not contacted them for a few days, only to find he was a step behind. That night, seeing a photo of Si Chen he hung in the room, Shishi couldn't help but call him narcissistic. Si Chen emerged in a towel. Seeing Shishi covering her eyes, he turned away, feeling embarrassed. In a strange place, Shishi tossed and turned. Hearing noise outside, she found Si Chen exercising inside. He suffered from severe insomnia, only sleeping 2 to 3 hours even after exhausting himself through exercise. When Shishi learned he couldn't sleep, she wanted to take over the bed. But Si Chen moved closer, saying, "Whether I sleep or not is my business, the bed is mine." Then he picked her up and placed her on the sofa, taking out a book to read. Shishi imitated him, reading a few lines aloud from a book before Si Chen fell asleep. He woke up the next morning, having slept soundly for the first time. With work approaching, he instructed Shishi to continue her method that night before rushing to the office. His grandmother grew increasingly fond of her granddaughter-in-law and gifted her a specially designed handbag. Such a valuable gift made Shishi reluctant to accept it, so she went to return it to Si Chen. But he coldly told her to keep it since it was already given. The next day, at the laundry shop, Shishi coincidentally met her mother facing the landlord about rent. The landlord gave a 3-day ultimatum to come up with the money or close the shop. Shishi discovered that her father and grandmother had taken the wedding gifts from Si Chen. She wasn't angry with her gentle and weak mother, but she did think of a solution to this problem. During a meal with her grandmother, who mentioned she had made soup for Si Chen, Shishi volunteered to deliver the soup to Si Chen, hoping to use this chance to ask for help from her supposed relative. However, While waiting for Si Chen, she fell asleep in his office. Si Chen silently admired her serene appearance as she slept. Seeing her head about to hit the table, he reached out to steady her. She woke up in confusion, and to cover his concern, Si Chen pretended to get some water. She followed him, wanting to discuss an advance on her salary to help her mother pay the rent. Si Chen immediately realized she was in need of money and deliberately refused her request. In desperation, she hugged him tightly. "I'm just asking for a small advance, and I'm not asking for more." He smiled, saying he liked her initiative, making she blush. Si Chen then pointed out that bringing the soup was just an excuse. This remark made she not care about the salary anymore, and she hurriedly left. Despite marrying into wealth, she received no money from her husband, so she had to sell all the gifts from the CEO. To pay off her mother's rent and prevent eviction, she reluctantly sold everything. However, what she managed to gather wasn't enough to cover the debt. The landlord happened to see Shishi's handbag and offered a price high enough to cover the rent. She didn't want to sell it since it was a gift from her grandmother-in-law, but she reluctantly pawned it, asking the landlord not to sell it. She promised to buy them back at double the price in 3 months. Shi Wei, lurking outside, saw everything. Returning home, her grandmother asked why she didn't use the handbag she had gifted, especially when meeting friends if she didn't like it. She lied, saying she was afraid of damaging it, so she kept it in her room, feeling relieved. Her grandmother mentioned her upcoming birthday and hoped she would wear the handbag she had gifted her. Panicked, she decided to use her skills to stay up all night and meticulously recreate the handbag. Soon, her grandmother's birthday arrived. Shi Wei wanted to embarrass Shi and introduced her to all the wealthy heiresses. Her aim was to make Shi feel uneasy about her humble background. However, Shi calmly and confidently introduced herself without feeling embarrassed by her status. Not satisfied, Shi Wei told her grandmother that she saw Shi selling the handbag at a mall. Since it was a unique design, she asked Shi to bring the handbag for comparison. Seeing Shishi's reaction, Si Chen sensed something was wrong and accompanied her to get the handbag. Realizing she couldn't hide it, Shi confessed to selling the handbag her grandmother gave her. She regretted it and wanted to buy it back, but it was already sold. She wanted to be honest with her grandmother and tell her everything because she felt guilty. Si Chen accused her of being shameless and only caring about money. He asked if she wanted to give his grandmother an unforgettable bad memory on her birthday. Then he told her to follow him outside and remain silent. Si Chen presented the handbag to his grandmother, but before he could say anything, Shi Wei suggested having it authenticated. Si Chen quickly said both were real, explaining that designers often create a prototype before the final product. His explanation satisfied everyone, and they didn't pursue it further, but Shi Wei was still resentful towards Shi. That night, Shi approached Si Chen to explain why she sold the handbag. However, he refused to listen, believing she exaggerated everything for money. With tears, Shi told Si Chen he couldn't understand her struggles as he never faced financial hardship. His words left Shi devastated, and she hid in her room, crying, feeling cold on the outside but warm inside. Si Chen had his trusted aide investigate and learned that all the wedding gifts he had sent were taken by her father and grandmother. Even her mother couldn't pay the rent for the laundry shop, which forced Shi to pawn the handbag. To prevent her from making more rash decisions, Si Chen had his assistant handle the situation. The next day, Shishi's mother brought good news that a wealthy person had bought the entire street and waived their rent for 6 months. Shishi thought her luck had turned, believing she had a benefactor watching over her. She thought her good fortune had come, but a friend called to say that Xian had accidentally revealed Shishi's story to someone. Shishi thought her senior was the one who helped her, so she invited him out for a drink to thank him. Upon hearing, Xian was surprised and clarified it wasn't him. He mentioned trying to buy the street yesterday but someone beat him to it. She felt awkward and wondered if Si Chen was the one who helped her. That evening, when she got home, Si Chen subtly asked if she had encountered any issues recently. She, sensing she was right, tried to leave but was stopped by Si Chen, who pulled her back and pinned her to the table. He demanded to know where she'd been the past 2 days. Their eyes met, making Shi feel embarrassed. Si Chen further asked if she had experienced anything strange or hard to explain recently. Shi denied having any such experiences. Turning away, she sarcastically thanked Mr. Doan for his help. Hearing her sarcastic thanks, he playfully asked her to feed him soup. Their closeness made them both feel awkward, and so did I. Later, he took the bowl and used it as an excuse to send Shi to bed early, claiming he had work to do. After showering and coming out, he saw Shi had fallen asleep on the sofa with a book open in her hands. Looking at her adorable face, he pondered deeply, unsure whether she was greedy, kind-hearted, or naive. His thoughts were interrupted as the book fell and hit him square in the face. Seeing his swollen face, Shi felt guilty and promised to read to him for 2 months as compensation. As they grew closer, the next day her ex-boyfriend called, asking to meet because he had something important to discuss. Before she could refuse, he had already hung up. Feeling uneasy, she went to the restaurant, unaware that Si Chen was also sitting nearby. Si Chen, with a contemplative look, watched them closely, unaware that Wei orchestrated the whole situation. Wei intended for Si Chen to hate Shi because of this, hoping to take Shi's place as his wife. Just as Si Chen was about to intervene, Shi angrily called her ex-boyfriend shameless. He remarked on her weight loss, and she replied it was due to the pressure of being around someone like Si Chen. She admitted feeling pressured by his sharp features and perfect appearance. Her ex-boyfriend laughed, enjoying the unexpected turn of events. Wei was caught off guard by this, and seeing Si Chen's joyful face, she reluctantly made an excuse to leave. Si Chen, happy, took out his phone to capture the moment. She later told her best friend about her ex-boyfriend's audacity, but she had her own plans and recorded the conversation. She wasn't an easy target. As expected, her ex-boyfriend texted threats and arranged another meeting. To avoid more trouble for Si Chen, she instructed her best friend to wait nearby in case something went wrong. Upon meeting, her ex-boyfriend demanded money to keep quiet and promised to destroy any incriminating photos. At this moment, Chen Exian called Si Chen, urgently telling him to go save Shi as something might have happened to her, and her car was already broken. Realizing Shi's indifference, her ex-boyfriend knew she had a hidden recording device on her. In the rain, Shi panicked, running and tripping accidentally. As the ex-boyfriend raised a large stone to strike Si Chen swiftly intervened, hitting him, embracing Shi, and comforting her. With $1 billion, Si Chen humbled himself to eat roadside snacks for Shi's sake. Shi drank heavily and, in her drunken state, imagined kissing a demon in front of her. She inquired if it was true, and Si Chen confirmed it was. The next morning, Si Chen watched Shi sleeping and remembered her drunken words about marriage. In the early morning, he planned to wake her with a deep kiss. Planning to turn her dream into reality, Shi woke up and covered her mouth with her hand due to morning breath. He lifted her to the dining table to feed her sweets, as she had drunkenly mentioned. Realizing the unexpected consequences of his drunken state, he felt extremely embarrassed and left. He was just about to relax when he received news that pictures of Shi and her ex-boyfriend meeting had been leaked online. Shi worried it would affect the Dong family business, so she asked her friend to find a reporter for a press conference. With a recorder in hand, she explained that it was all her ex-boyfriend's scheme. The reporter relentlessly questioned her, probing into the abrupt marriage to a domineering CEO. Just then, the CEO appeared, confidently stating he fell in love with Shi at first sight and pursued her ardently. On their way home, he played back the recording of Shi's sweet words from the previous night. Embarrassed, she hesitated, and their lips accidentally touched, creating a moment of silent tension. It's said that danger lurks in unexpected places, a slip-up could feed gossip. From afar, jealous Si Chen spread rumors that Shi's idol must be her husband. She couldn't contain herself and sent a text badmouthing her senior brother, only to realize her idol was Mozxian, her 5-month-old dream lover. The main character of that comic book was written by him and the female lead was her. She participated in a book signing event of the comic artist she admired, even getting a hug from him. Back home, she looked at the photo of her idol and felt ecstatic. Si Chen, from a distance, observed this and, consumed by jealousy, took the photo and boasted about Shi being only his wife. She couldn't resist texting her senior brother, badmouthing him again. Unexpectedly, her idol, 5 months younger than her, turned out to be Mozxian, the male protagonist in the comic book she admired. Shi now had a headache from planning her own brand's development. Chen Exian suggests she asks Si Chen for help, so she brings her grandmother to the company pretending to be tired and stopping by to visit. Si Chen realizes she's up to something and decides to take her on a romantic company tour. Passing the research department, she immediately spots a flaw in the next quarter's analysis trend. She slowly voices her differing opinions. Seeing her confident and professional demeanor, Si Chen realizes he can't figure out the girl standing before him. She is like a treasure that anyone would want to find if they were a pirate. After showering, Shi's towel gets caught in her bag. They put on a comedy show as they pull each other into the changing room. Yesterday, disguised, Shi asked her senior Xian for help with the planned design. Coincidentally, Si Chen hears from his house's guard that the neighbor next door has the surname Mo. He immediately recalls Mozxian's interest in Shi. At the gate, he sees Shi sneaking around in disguise but still easily recognizes her. At home, he tells his grandmother about a crazy woman in their yard lately, making Shi feel like he has recognized her. She tells her friend she's afraid Si Chen will cancel the contract, leaving her unable to repay the money for life. Chen Exian suggests that since very few men can resist a beautiful woman, she should go home and act coy to win him over. Si Chen considers finding Mozxian out of jealousy. He instructs his assistant to steal clients currently working with Xian. This surprises the assistant because someone as economically driven as him now doesn't mind losses just to target Mozixian. Then he calms down, realizing he shouldn't make wrong decisions based on personal feelings. No hope, no disappointment, no affection means no heartbreak. He realizes Gu Shishi is just a passerby in his life for 3 months, to inherit the corporation. His mother never allowed Yin Si-chen to have feelings for anything since childhood. She believed that affection would make people lose themselves, and as a leader, one must keep a cool head. But living that way, how much is life worth? The appearance of Shishi makes him unable to control his heart, he can only lock his heart away. Then Shishi dresses seductively, not only winking at him but also kindly massaging his shoulders. This unusual behavior confuses him greatly. Then he coldly tells her to realize her position and stop daydreaming. If you have any other thoughts, stop immediately. Shishi feels she has done something really stupid. She scolded her friend for the terrible suggestion. To cut off her fantasies, Si-chen invites Shi-wei to his home for dinner. Shi-wei proudly brags that she confessed to Si-chen, but Shishi just responds with an "oh," surprising both of them. Feeling humiliated, Shi-wei leaves, and Si-chen shows anger because Shishi isn't jealous, completely forgetting his original intent of finding Shi-wei. At night, seeing Shishi exhausted and asleep at the table, he kindly covers her with a coat. Accidentally seeing the plan was Mozixian's, he thinks he must appear now. The next day, while bathing, he deliberately throws Shishi's tablet into the bathtub, then brings out the plan he prepared all night. Unexpectedly, Shishi rejects it, thinking her plan is still better. Si-chen wants to argue, but Shishi's phone interrupts him. "Hello my friend," she says, "but Mozixian has found out about your fake marriage. Last night, Zixian invited Chen Exian for drinks, and in her drunken state, she accidentally revealed their fake marriage." Shishi anxiously wonders if he knows that their fake marriage is real. When asked about the agreement between her and Si-chen, Zixian pretends not to know, not to remember. At this moment, Yin Si-chen appears. Shishi explains that she and Mozixian share the same interest, so they agreed to go to a comic exhibition. Hearing this flimsy excuse, Si-chen immediately knows she's lying. He straightforwardly declares that Shishi is his wife, and this strong stance makes Zixian uncomfortable. "I have 1,000 billion, so do I." Feeling the intense tension, Shishi intervenes and obediently returns with Si-chen. Back home, Zixian recalls Chen Exian's words and still holds hope. If it's a contract, it will eventually end, and he will wait for that day. The more Yin Si-chen interacts closely with Shishi, the more he can't control his heart anymore. While discussing business with Ran Shi-wei, he inadvertently sees Shishi and Zixian nearby. Jealous, he walks over to interrupt their conversation, and Shishi feels guilty and wants to explain. Unexpectedly, Mozixian bluntly states that he knows about their marriage contract. As Shishi's friend, he will do his best to help her, making Si-chen angry and dragging Shishi away. Back at the company, he thinks of a way, and when Alex sends an invitation for the couple to come to Milan for a few days, he seizes this opportunity to keep Shishi away from Mozixian a bit. He plans to use this opportunity to discuss acquiring the brand. So at night before going to Milan, she has to learn Italian and basic social etiquette. Seeing the packed schedule, Shishi can't help but say he is exploiting her labor. The contract requires an 8-hour day, but now she has to work overtime. But without permission, meeting Zixian already violates the contract. He sarcastically says the terms are void if she doesn't obey, she must pay for the contract. Shishi feels he is using public office for personal revenge, but, being broke, she has to obey. That's life, those with power are the ones with money. Every day, Shishi learns common phrases in Italian. Mispronouncing them often, Si-chen uses tough love to correct her. Grandma comes to defend her granddaughter-in-law, and Si-chen helplessly asks her to say in Italian if she has eaten yet. Unexpectedly, Shishi talks a lot but gets it wrong. Understanding her grandson's frustration, Grandma leaves them to deal with the problem. To avoid showing flaws in front of Alex, Yin Si-chen takes Shishi to a company to learn social etiquette, and their instructor is Ran Shi-wei. She deliberately pulls Si-chen in to demonstrate, wanting Shishi to see that she is the one suited for him. Then she asks the assistant to practice with Shishi. Lost in thought, Shishi slips, and as she falls, Si-chen rushes over worriedly to check on her. Seeing this, Shi-wei feels extremely resentful. It's the first time she has seen her childhood friend care so much for someone. Then she says she has something to discuss privately with Si-chen. Seeing an opportunity, Shishi wants to sneak away, saying she can go back by herself, and then picks up her high heels to leave. Shi-wei notices he has changed a lot and seems more compassionate. She wants to probe if the person causing this change is Shishi. Si-chen candidly admits it and feels very lucky to have known her. Then sends a caring message about Shishi's injured foot. Seeing his gentle demeanor, but not directed at her, Shi-wei is extremely jealous. Shishi can't bear Yin Si-chen's exploitation any longer. She draws a pig and asks Grandma how to say it. Unexpectedly, Grandma guesses her meaning and teaches her to say I love you in Italian. In the evening, when Si-Chun checks her homework, she hurriedly says the phrase Grandma taught her. What did you say? I love you, I really love you. He smiled and said her way of confessing was very cute. She was dumbfounded, then checked online and realized Grandma had tricked her. She messaged Grandma, who then said, I'm old, my memory is bad, forgive me, go to sleep, good night, my granddaughter-in-law. Si-Chun took Shi to learn dancing, and since it was her first time, she kept clumsily almost falling. Luckily, Si-Chun caught her under the bright lights. Shi felt a bit touched but quickly reminded herself it was just a contract love. Later, Xian messaged her, inviting her to watch the sunset together. Seeing Xian always smiling made her feel he was like a small son. Always warm, he recalled her saying in high school that he never smiled. Because of Shi's words, he always smiled. Looking at the girl he had liked for 10 years, Xian hoped he would be a ray of light illuminating her like a bright sunset. In the evening, when Shi got home, she was informed by Si-Chun that Shi Wei invited her to the opening of her office. Her first reaction made Si-Chun want to knock on her wooden head. I know, she's opening a fashion office, so all the invited guests are from the media and fashion designers, all very famous. If you go this time, you can not only expand your network but also kill 2 birds with 1 stone. The pig brain finally works. Shi hugged Si-Chun and prepared to tailor a stylish suit for him. The day of the party arrived, and Shi Wei's opening speech thanked Si-Chun for his help, intending to emphasize their relationship. Unexpectedly, on stage, he said his suit was personally tailored by his wife. Taking the opportunity, he promoted Shi's personal clothing brand. Shi Wei was very jealous and implied that Shi was an unknown designer, inviting her to speak. Shi Wei intended to embarrass her, but Shi confidently shared her reason for entering the fashion industry. Shi Wei became increasingly resentful. The next day, Si-Chun took Shi to Milan. To avoid Alex's suspicion, he arranged for them to share a room. In the afternoon, there was a fashion show. Shi was very excited and left a note for Si-Chun in the bathroom before happily heading to the event. After finishing his shower, Si-Chun received a call from his assistant, saying Alex invited them to lunch in the afternoon. He called Shi repeatedly but got no response, then saw the note she left on the ground. Meanwhile, Shi, cosplaying as Zorro, got lost in a dense forest at the show. Trying to find a way out after hearing wild animals, she ran in despair. Luckily, during her most frightened moment, Si-Chun appeared, showing worry and saying he'd deal with Shi later. On the way back, Si-Chun remained cold and indifferent. Shi kept apologizing and noticed a piece of skin missing from Si-Chun's hand. She hurriedly applies a cute band-aid for him. This small, gentle action makes Si-Chun find her adorable. The two of them then go to meet Alex. When they accidentally see the design board brought by his assistant, he enthusiastically gives both of them a tour of his office. I come to the assistant to help Si-Chun with his wound, but he keeps complaining about Shi. But the assistant can see that while he talks tough, his heart says otherwise. At night, Si-Chun keeps spamming messages to Shi. She plans to ignore them, but his persistence forces her to investigate. Hearing the knock on the door, Si-Chun quickly gets up and removes the bandage. Then he asks Shi to rebandage it and suggests that they could spend some time watching the show together tomorrow. Shi straightforwardly refuses, hoping he won't cause her any more trouble. Si-Chun wants to protest, but Shi suddenly faints beside him. Seeing Shi sleeping and mumbling makes him a little infatuated. He holds her hand and can't hide his feelings. I like you. Early morning, he wakes to find his contract partner beside him. She wakes startled. Shi throws a fit, blaming Si-Chun, but he says, "This is my room." Si-Chun raises his hand to scare her. Seeing her timid reaction makes him want to tease her even more. He gets close to her face, teasing her like a cat with a mouse. Seeing her tense up, he finally lets her go. With Alex's matchmaking, they take a commemorative photo together at the Wishing Lake. Shi takes a coin from her pocket and tosses it in, only to realize it's the commemorative coin her father gave her. But there are too many coins in the water. Shi decides to give up on finding it. Returning to the room with Alex, the assistant nervously reports a missing design board draft. Shi vaguely remembers the shape of the dress because she accidentally saw it, so she offers to try drawing it. In just 1 minute and 30 seconds, Shi completes the challenge, surpassing herself and adding some delicate details. Alex is very pleased and admires the young couple. But the closer they get, the more insecure Shi feels because their marriage is essentially just a contract. So she hints to Alex that she has something she's hiding from him. But Alex unexpectedly says sometimes there's no absolute honesty between people. Sometimes a white lie can lead to a beautiful ending. Seeing Shi's anxiety, Si-Chun explains that in business, he sometimes uses unscrupulous means to achieve his goals, but he would never do anything that would harm the interests of others. If you're worried, find an appropriate time to tell Alex everything. He suggests a more mystical approach, sacrificing himself to turn the fake into reality. Loving his pressing time style, seeing Shishi eagerly folding animals, Si-Chen joins her to try folding too. They encourage each other but still can't succeed despite their efforts. She sees another couple nearby, kisses her boyfriend, and instantly succeeds in folding the animal. Taking the chance, Si-Chen moves his face close to Shishi's to get some luck, and they actually manage to make 2 small bears. Si-Chen warns her that if she loses them, he will deduct a month's salary. The day before they leave, Si-Chen tells her Shishi's favorite show has been rescheduled. It happens to be today, so they can go watch it. Shishi is immediately overjoyed, ensuring she absolutely won't get lost when they go out. She doesn't know that Si-Chen paid out of his pocket to arrange this show for her. This action amazes the assistant, who wonders how often he's done such things for Shishi selflessly. It's not just liking, it's that I've fallen in love with her. Si-Chen knows Shishi values sincerity. He plans that once they return home, he will find a way to terminate the contract so Shishi can freely accept his feelings. This trip to Milan makes Alex very satisfied, and he agrees to hand over the Enjoy brand to Si-Chen. He also conditions that Shishi must be the one in charge of the brand. Si-Chen happily agrees. After watching the show, Shishi brings out a cake to celebrate his birthday. Watching Shishi sing happy birthday to him, Si-Chen secretly wishes she could stay by his side forever. Now, if he's not guarded, Si-Chen will kiss her, enjoying how the boss takes the initiative and sweetly asks. Shishi then accidentally sees the contract Alex sent over, requiring her to be in charge of the brand. But if she follows the Enjoy brand terms, she won't be able to continue developing her own brand. Her best friend suspects Si-Chen might be pressuring Shishi for his own benefit, but the boss here has found a way to handle it for his love. He changes the terms with Alex, warning that if Alex doesn't agree, he'll give up Enjoy because fame. He already has what he wants, love. Si-Chen prepares a romantic candlelit evening, advising Shishi to take her time opening her shop because the shop's location and the factory have many issues. Hearing this, Shishi thinks he is sacrificing her dream to cooperate smoothly with Alex. Feeling sad and upset because he kept this from her. Meanwhile, Si-Chen feels he can handle this matter for Shishi and needs her to give him some time. Si-Chen's vague response makes Shishi even more misunderstand the situation. The next day, she goes to the store and finds out from the intermediary that Si-Chen has acquired the company. With the opening day approaching, Shishi is both panicked and furious. Upon hearing, Mozxin swiftly searches for a suitable store location. After running around all afternoon, he finally finds the best spot. Fearing Shishi might be burdened, he tells her his friend has a place for rent. It's endearing how the boss secretly spends money without wanting anyone to know. In the midst of this, on the other side, Ran Shiwei also learns that Alex chose Shishi to be in charge of Enjoy, and the opening day is approaching. She deliberately leaks this information, sensationalizing it with the headline about an unknown designer rejecting Alex. Upon release, it immediately topped the charts. Si-Chen thinks she is trying to protect her brand by leaking the news to reporters. They argue, with Si-Chen accusing Shishi of tarnishing a major brand for her own benefit. Although Shishi wants to protect her dream, she insists she didn't do it. But Si-Chen, feeling competitive, tells her she's free now. Alex, upon learning the news, is very angry and cancels the meeting. To regain Alex's trust, Si-Chen plans to resolve the misunderstanding together with Shishi. Meanwhile, Shishi questions herself as she is also aware of this situation. Chen Exin recalls talking to Shishi loudly during lunch on East-West Avenue, possibly overheard by others. Upon hearing this, Shishi feels guilty and wants to apologize to Si-Chen. Accidentally walking into his room, she overhears unpleasant things about Si-Chen receiving a grand gift and carelessly dropping it, after which he would demand compensation, making her comply. In the past, Si-Chen might have been shameless like this. But this time, he plans to use his sincerity to win her heart. The assistant reports that the likely source of the leak is Ran Shiwei. At this moment, he still doesn't know that Shishi has misunderstood him. The next day, they both go to the restaurant. Si-Chen brings the precious gift he has prepared for her. Unexpectedly, before Shishi even opens it, she accuses Si-Chen of being a heartless businessman. Si-Chen wants to explain, but when a woman is angry, the best advice I can give my brothers is to let her finish speaking. Shishi temporarily closes the company, agreeing to Alex's proposal for the remaining duration of the contract. After the contract ends, they go their separate ways. Si-Chen's assistant found Alex's hotel, so he goes to find Alex. Facing Si-Chen's persistence, he begins to talk. Si-Chen takes Alex to Shishi's shop, saying this has been Shishi's dream since she was a child. He firmly supports her decision. He brings out a new contract, but Alex still refuses. At home, he sees a jewelry box on the table and, out of curiosity, opens it. He finds the precious coin he dropped in the wishing pond. Next to it is a small note from Si-Chen, revealing that he spent his entire birthday night searching for it. That's why he was cold and coughing that day. Realizing she mistakenly blamed Si-Chen, she meets Alex alone to sincerely apologize for the online news. She tells him Si-Chen put a lot of effort into this collaboration. If he still wants to collaborate, she will close the shop and work hard out of enjoyment. Alex, moved by their mutual support, is also touched. He decides to respect Shi's dream and accept Si-Chen's new proposal. The next day, hearing from his assistant that Shi convinced Alex, Si-Chen jumps for joy like a child. He goes to the garden to thank her. Shi is painting and tells him to watch quietly from a distance. From this distance, she knows she's beautiful, and he feels lucky to have married such a beauty. Shi seeks a model for her brand promotion photos. Unexpectedly, Shi sees this and immediately informs someone to poach all the models. The scene and the photographer are already hired, so if she can't take photos, Shi will suffer a significant financial loss. Mozxian visits, and in the absence of personnel, she asks the CEO to model. With his handsome appearance and extraordinary aura, Shi and her best friend feel he's wasting his time as a chairman. At the same time, Si-Chen also brings fast food to visit. Seeing Mozxian, he immediately gets jealous. Si-Chen demands a competition, wanting to outshine Mozxian. On camera, he looks inquisitive with a foolish smile. Shi wants him to take cute, adorable photos. Cute for my girl. The scene is really ... Shi gives him a can of soda to pose with. Unexpectedly, the guy opens the can, causing the soda to spray all over him. Shi worriedly comes over to check on the shirt she designed. Si-Chen says that his face and hair still look great, but who cares about him? Shi angrily demands compensation from Si-Chen. He holds a thick red envelope in his hand and then asks who performed better, him or Xian. He uses money to bribe and then wants Shi to answer. Objectively, both are handsome and tall, but Si-Chen loses a point for lacking aura. Because, as they say, aura is important. Unexpectedly, in a competition of two, he ranks second. How cool is that? He pulls Shi into his arms, saying, "You are my wife, let me teach you how to be Mrs. Doan." Shi pushes him away and runs off. The next day, Shi deliberately asks Grandma about Si-Chen's likes. Taking advantage of his meeting with employees, she brings his least favorite dish to the office. She insists on serving him the disliked dish in front of everyone. Seeing the burning eyes of the fans, Si-Chen forces a smile and eats it. Shi, feeling that the joke is enough, says goodbye and winks as she leaves. After she leaves, Si-Chen finds another dessert underneath. Although he still dislikes this dish, Si-Chen tries a bite and finds it not so bad. At home, he demands that Shi bring lunch to the company for him every day. The next day, Shi drags Si-Chen to the company cafeteria to show affection. She acts coy, saying her hand hurts and asks him to feed his wife. No need to declare ownership, they already belong to each other. Nearby employees see the chairman's cold exterior but warm interior, unaware that the young couple is waging a battlefield with each other. The hurt now hurts others. Shi keeps getting fed until she can't take it anymore and surrenders. Seeing this, Si-Chen uses his mouth to bite off the remaining food for her. Shi immediately runs away before things get worse. Si-Chen plans a masked festival to confess his feelings to Shi. Unexpectedly, Ran Shiwei, upon discovering this, asks her best friend for help. She deceives him by claiming she and Si-Chen have misunderstandings and asks him to resolve them. Shangke doesn't want any barriers to form between them, so he asks his assistant to prepare different colored dresses for Shiwei and Shi. At that moment, he asks someone to temporarily move everyone away so Shiwei has time to reconcile with Si-Chen. His plan is thwarted when the assistant accidentally mixes up the photos of the two. Shiwei ends up being trapped in the elevator, while on the other side, Shi is wearing a mask, causing everyone to mistake her for Ran Shiwei. Si-Chen advises her to let go of her distractions, saying she might have developed feelings for him due to everyone around them. But he admits that he never thought they had a romantic relationship. So, he asks her not to overstep her boundaries, as he already has someone he likes and hopes she will keep an appropriate distance. She remains silent and then leaves, removing her mask with tears streaming down, realizing she had liked him for a long time. After saying this, Si-Chen looks for Shi but cannot find her, then suddenly receives a disheartening text. "I won't cause you any more trouble, I will keep my distance and stay at Chen Xian's house tonight." Shiwei is also crying and feeling devastated. Shangku realizes he has caused a major problem due to his mistake and keeps apologizing to Shiwei. Shi recalls the small moments she spent with Si-Chen, understanding more about her feelings for him. But he had admitted that he already liked someone else. Maybe when their marriage contract ends, they could at least be friends. Si-Chen finds it strange, not understanding why Shi is cold towards him. When Shangku calls about last night's mix-up, he finally understands the reason. He keeps calling Shi to explain, but all he gets is the number you have dialed is currently unreachable. It turns out Shishi's car broke down and got stuck on the road. She is stressed and keeps calling to resolve the issue. When she arrives, ZXIN has already been there since the afternoon to help her solve the problem, always appearing when needed. Shishi is very grateful for ZXIN's timely help, as she prepares to get in the car to return to the city. In Si-chin also unexpectedly drives up, showing concern, but Shishi is still hurt by his words at the party. She asks Si-chin for some time and then gets in the car with ZXIN. During dinner with ZXIN, Shishi keeps drinking, and seeing her carefree attitude, ZXIN wants to know how she is doing. Shishi finds a place to vent her frustrations. She discusses her conflicts, feeling deceived about her place in Si-chen's heart. Feeling like a weed on the roadside, how could she reach the clouds? ZXIN carries Shishi home, and in her drunken state, she keeps babbling, "I like Si-chen." With a crush of over 10 years and hearing those words, how could he not feel heartbroken? Still, ZXIN confesses, "I like you too." Ran Shiwei, with a deceitful heart, seeks out Shishi and invites her to participate in an interview on her popular fan page. Initially, Shishi feels something is off, but she eventually agrees. As soon as the interview is posted online, it causes an uproar. Netizens start attacking Shishi because most of the questions in the interview were designed to praise a young designer like Shishi. Shishi, an innocent sheep, does not realize this at all. Si-chin immediately sees through Shiwei's intentions. Despite her pretense of innocence, he subtly reminds her that Shishi is his wife, and anyone who harms her will have to deal with him. Si-chin then goes to the store to meet Shishi. He finds her still engrossed in responding to the toxic comments from netizens. He quickly closes her laptop and advises her not to accept their insults. He suggests waiting for the situation to settle before finding a way to clarify things. Shishi feels it's not his concern and asks him not to worry. Recalling the events of the masquerade ball, she angrily tells him to leave. Si-chin leaves and waits for her to lower her pride and reconcile. At home, he sees netizens continuously attacking his wife. Though he speaks of her antics, he creates a fake account to argue with hundreds of them, disregarding his position as president. The next day, Shishi realizes someone is fighting back on her behalf. Recognizing the tone, she knows it's In Si-chin. She cannot help but message him to stop meddling in her affairs and then promptly blocks him. In an effort to restore her public image and brand, In Si-chin intentionally wears clothes from Shishi's brand for an interview, confidently introducing it as the brand his wife founded. He also mentions that marrying Shishi is his good fortune. Not only that, but he also spends money to verify Shishi's social media accounts. Now the whole world knows that the one fighting online is Si-chin. At this moment, Shishi looks at his messages and realizes that everything at the masquerade ball was a misunderstanding. Seeing Si-chin, Shishi cannot help but rush to hug him tightly. Just as he is immersed in happiness, he receives a bank notification about a money withdrawal. It turns out his father secretly took his mother's card to lavishly spend on his mistress. Learning Shishi's identity, the mistress becomes bold and tries to hit Shishi, but Si-chin intervenes. He then asks his assistant to use the law against her, accusing her of fraud and destroying their happiness. Seeing this, she becomes fearful and backs off. In Si-chin takes Shishi and his mother to their countryside home. He has arranged for 58 staff members to clean and update the place. He assures his mother and Shishi to rest here and leave everything else to him. Seeing him work so hard, his mother asks him to stay the night. He happily agrees despite Shishi's gaze. To get revenge, Shishi brings a tight pink sexy lady's nightgown for Si-chin to wear. Seeing the domineering CEO in such a situation, Shishi quickly takes out her phone to snap a few memorable photos. Playfully teasing each other, they fall onto the bed with their beloved right in front of them. As things heat up, Shishi's mother walks in with a blanket, leaving them both embarrassed. Seeing their blushing faces, she quickly leaves to give them some privacy. At this moment, Si-chin notices a stack of childhood love letters from Shishi. He wants her to read them tonight so he can sleep. "No way," she says, "let's continue where we left off." The poor girl from before now has two powerful CEOs pursuing her simultaneously. On one side is her contract husband, who has fallen in love, and on the other is the warm-hearted guy who has cared for her since they were 10 years old. With delicious food laid out for two, Shishi can only choose one, as both CEOs invite her to dinner on her birthday. Si-chin prepares a beautiful dinner table for Shishi, but Shiwei shows up instead. Shiwei talks about childhood friends and claims Shishi is just a stranger they met by chance. Si-chin disagrees, thinking she is imposing others' views on him and her. At least in his heart, they could have a romantic relationship. The only one he opens his heart to is Gu Shishi. Shiwei tries to hold him back, knowing she's stalling to create a misunderstanding when Shishi arrives. Si-chin decisively asks her to leave. Meanwhile, Shishi arrives at the place where MOZXIN asked to meet. He gathers all his courage to express his feelings to her. All these gifts are things I've specially prepared for you from when you were 1 until you turned 25. I hope I can be part of your past and exist in your future. Though she respects the warmth and closeness he has given her. She appreciates his love deeply. But perhaps her heart already belongs to someone else. She hurriedly catches a taxi, gets stuck in traffic, and with her phone dead, she runs through the rain to the meeting spot. Upon arrival, she's told the restaurant is closed. Just as she feels disappointed, the lights suddenly come on. In Si-Chen, super handsome under the glowing lights. She cannot control her heart and runs to hug him. Though they no longer have a romantic candlelight dinner, Si-Chen still prepares a birthday cake for Shi. They make a wish together, and under the witness of the sky and stars, they affirm their feelings for each other. Despite everything, Shi does not give up and seeks out In Si-Chen the next day to apologize. But he completely ignores her, focusing only on holding Shi's hand. Not wanting to get entangled with someone like her, Shi chooses to forgive her. Shi, seeing their affectionate glances, feels heartbroken and leaves. Si-Chen, experiencing love for the first time, now sees only Shi in his eyes. To ensure their love lasts, Si-Chen meets his old friend, who has been dumped many times. One willing to learn, one willing to teach, his friend gifts him a precious book of experiences from past breakups. Following the book's advice, he brings flowers to Shi and says cheesy lines like, "Why are you so beautiful?" Upon hearing this, Shi immediately knows he learned it from Shangku, and tells him not to say such cheesy lines again. He obediently agrees, holding her hand. Seeing the affectionate couple at the next table, Si-Chen daydreams. He then subtly asks Shi if the steak is good, but she doesn't catch on and keeps eating. Only when she sees the longing look from the couple next to them does Shi understand, "You want a kiss?" Not so easy. To spice things up, Si-Chen suggests watching a horror movie together that night to deepen their bond. But it's not Shi who gets scared, it's Si-Chen, who is terrified but tries to act brave. He even says the movie isn't scary enough. But when it comes time to brush his teeth, he's afraid to be alone and insists Shi come with him. The cold, hard-to-love CEO has now fallen for the unassuming Gu Shi. Their relationship heats up, marking their territory. The fake marriage contract now holds genuine feelings. Waking up, Shi feels the kisses were like a beautiful dream. To make up for the lack of romance in their fake contract, Si-Chen cancels all his work today to go on a date with Shi. They play and dance together, but as a result, Shi catches a cold. This worries his grandmother, who advises her to stay home and rest. Mozxian hears about Shi's cold and wants to visit her, but Si-Chen grabs the phone, rudely hangs up, and confiscates it. This way, Xian can't contact her during this time. Then, he persuades her to take her medicine. Shi, hating the bitter taste, pouts and asks for bubble tea. Si-Chen used his mouth to give medicine to Shi. He only did it once but could do it again if needed. Worried he might catch her cold, she obediently drinks the whole bowl of medicine. At bedtime, fearing he'll disturb her sleep, Si-Chen works while watching over her. Knowing she likes bubble tea, the next day Si-Chen learns the recipe for the best bubble tea from the boy Kenji. Seeking his grandmother's help, she was out for tea with a friend. Indeed, when all seemed lost, Xian brought fresh flowers to visit her. Not only that, Xian thoughtfully brought her favorite bubble tea when she fell ill. Thanks to Chen Xian's enthusiastic support, Si-Chen didn't expect his assistance and wanted Shi to choose one. But before she could take a sip, Si-Chen had already finished the bubble tea brought by Mozxian. Xian, with a somewhat competitive nature, swiftly drank the first dose of medicine Si-Chen had prepared. Shi looked bewildered, smiling ambiguously at the two of them. Unexpectedly, these two powerful CEOs were willing to do such futile things for her. After Xian left, Shi sensed something was amiss. Realizing she had lost the contest since she couldn't even take a sip of the bubble tea. Seeing Si-Chen's frustrated expression, she quickly comforted him. Once recovered, she faced challenges at work, where sales were declining and competitors were ramping up marketing efforts. Their store was hindered by Ran Shiwei blocking online advertisements. So both went to meet the largest shareholder of that company, none other than Xian. He proposed advertising on his company's homepage, which he manages. But Shi didn't want to owe him more. Just as Mozxian wanted to continue advising her, the lights suddenly went out. At this moment, Si-Chen arrived at the store to pick Shi up. Seeing Mozxian standing in for the light bulb, he sarcastically commented that the conglomerate CEO had to do such lowly work here. Xian paid no heed to the kid's comments, but as he stepped down, Si-Chen unexpectedly reached out to help. These two powerful CEOs teamed up to set aside their egos to help the girl they both liked. Female customers hearing this immediately crowded in to watch. Mozxian's gentlemanly demeanor instantly won countless admirers, while Si-Chen remained aloof and cold as ice without even trying. Though some fans liked this demeanor, The total revenue of Si Chen was less than a third of ZXIN's when the night ended. He admitted defeat, saying he would surpass him tomorrow. The next day, he served customers kindly based on their preferences. By the end of the day, he is lucky to sell one more than MOZXIN. A narrow victory, but it makes him look smug. Unaware that she had bought the last item out of her own pocket, knowing his competitive nature. Considering it a small trick to fool him. Since the establishment of the official costume shop, this is their highest sales yet. Shi, after drinking too much, acts wildly with Si Chen by the lake. This intimate scene is witnessed by MOZXIN, who feels her love is so bitter. Ran Shiwei, however, does not give up and continues to harm people. Pretending as a reporter, she wants to know all about Shi, starting with her father's story. He bluntly refuses, but since becoming a sugar baby, he has gradually become poorer. His girlfriend, seeing money, secretly takes Shi's school diary to Ran Shiwei in exchange for money. Coincidentally, Ran Shiwei's company is collaborating with Doan's group to organize an important fashion event. Taking advantage of the staff's absence, she secretly copies Shi's diary to the computer. When the short video is shown, every word in it makes the guests think she is a gold digger, constantly pointing at her, along with countless cameras aimed at Shi. Si Chen hurriedly handles the situation while Shi looks terrified at the disdainful eyes of everyone. When Ma Tu-han intends to protect her, Si Chen comes back and hugs her, then comforts her to stay calm, assuring her that he will handle everything. Tu-han pulls Shi onto the stage, solemnly declaring that she is not a scammer but the woman he wants to protect for life. The two kiss each other to prove their genuine love. Shiwei looks gloomy, and ZXIN is also indescribably sad. This dramatic scene makes them top trending on many reputable websites nationwide. Mrs. Doan abroad also reads the news, immediately furious at Mr. Doan for not informing her about their son's marriage. After realizing he can't hide it, he admits that their son had to fake a marriage because of a contract. Mrs. Doan gets angry and promptly books a first-class flight back to confront them. Si Chen realizes someone is intentionally targeting Shi, advised the assistant to investigate the person behind. Ran Shiwei, on the other hand, is furious and jealous because of the intimate photos of Si Chen. After dealing with the surrounding threats, he is enjoying a peaceful moment with his wife when he gets a call from Mrs. Doan. Anticipating her mother-in-law's return, she takes up needlework to avoid confrontation. Practicing golf hard because she knows it's her mother-in-law's hobby. Si Chen sees his wife struggling and goes to pull her off the golf course. Shi, thinking she is inferior to others, becomes very pensive. Si Chen then takes her to the street barbecue stall she loves the most. He tells her she doesn't need to change for anyone, he loves her and she should just be herself. Si Chen's sincere words comfort Shi and release the knot in her heart, giving her courage to face her powerful mother-in-law. The next day, Mrs. Doan returns to the country in a grand manner. Shi appears humble, the CEO tries to protect his wife but the mother-in-law remains silent. At the meal, seeing Shi serving yams to her son, Mrs. Doan frowns unconsciously. Since childhood, Si Chen has not eaten yams, how can you not know this little thing? After all these years, not understanding each other, how can you make me feel at ease? Seeing the tense atmosphere, Grandma intervenes. She explains that since meeting Si Chen has become easier to feed. Seeing the pressure his mother's attitude puts on Si Chen comforts and encourages his wife. Seeing Mrs. Doan's return, Ran Shiwei quickly buys nail polish, Gucci bags, and visits with gifts big and small. For the girl she saw grow up with her son, who is well matched in status, Mrs. Doan is very pleased. She suggests they discuss design together when they have free time. Later, Shiwei even taunts Shi, claiming she has always been favored by Si Chen. Shi listens but is not angry at all. Instead, she invites her mother-in-law to visit her shop. Mrs. Doan agrees to visit in the afternoon and asks Shiwei to join her. Shi mentions designing the formal dress and asks Chen Exin to show it to Mrs. Doan. Chen Exin, knowing Shiwei's cunning nature, deliberately brings out a different outfit. As expected, Shiwei immediately criticizes Shi's poor skills and claims it is unworthy of Mrs. Doan. Apologizing, she reveals Shiwei had worn this criticized dress to a fashion event before. Chen Exin's sarcasm is so satisfying, causing Shiwei to find an excuse to leave. Mrs. Doan then looks at the outfit designed by Shi, which is exquisite, and changes her opinion of her daughter-in-law. She says she will meet some friends in a few days and can wear this formal dress then. After finishing work, Si Chen plans a date with Gu Shi when Mrs. Doan unexpectedly arrives at the company. Upon meeting, she scolds her beloved son, accusing him of being infatuated. As an heir he shouldn't fall so deeply into love. Si Chen retorts against his mother's thoughts, saying if he lives according to what she plans, he will gradually lose all sacred human emotions. It was Shi's serendipitous appearance that helped him change. Now he wants to live life on his own terms, not according to his mother's arrangements, to protect the one he cares about. He feared his mother would take away what he liked as she did in his childhood, but she unexpectedly smiled. Taking away what he liked as a child was to teach him perseverance, she explained. After these days of interaction, she felt that she is indeed a good girl and urged her son to cherish this love. Hearing his mother's praises for his wife, the young man joyfully runs to the meeting place and hugs Shishi tightly. The next day, the mother-in-law takes Shishi to attend a gathering of friends to expand her connections. The ladies present keep praising her, but Shishi senses they are looking down on her background. Mrs. Doan always stands up to protect her daughter-in-law and then goes to comfort her. She explains that this circle is a reality. To overcome it, both husband and wife must be united, and she will support them wholeheartedly. Hearing these words, Shishi feels less inferior. But to update her skills, Shishi asks Si-Chen for permission to go abroad for 3 months to study design. Hearing that they will be separated for so long, Si-Chen feels unhappy. Even though he cries and acts spoiled, his wife is determined to go. So, he resorts to hiding her ID card and pretends to have a headache to keep her to stay and take care of him. She uses her charm to cure his headache, but unexpectedly finds her ID card under the pillow. Seeing this, Si-Chen is still not content, not only packing his belongings including their shared photos but also ordering custom couple outfits. He hopes she will wear this outfit on her first day of class so everyone knows she belongs to the chairman's wife. Before leaving, Shishi gives Si-Chen a beautiful farewell dream. When he wakes up, she is nowhere to be seen. Knowing she's gone to improve her skills, he still worries and searches for her. He rushes to Shishi's clothing store, declaring his surrender. This time, he completely gives in. The CEO's mind is constantly on Shishi. 8 hours have passed, and he is like a lost soul. When the manager tells him it's been 9 hours, he hastily runs to book a flight. As soon as Shishi arrives, she meets Mo Xian, who is currently working there. With his help, Shishi successfully finds a place to stay. The landlord mistakes them for a couple, embarrassing Shishi, who clarifies they're just friends. Si-Chen, disguised, watches from downstairs and sees the two leaving together. Mo Xian acts intimately, making Si-Chen jealous and follow them. He plays a prank by instructing the server to add extra spice to Xian's soup. Xian takes a big gulp, burning his tongue, while Si-Chen laughs heartily on the side. His smile fades when Shishi switches her soup with Xian's. Si-Chen feels constantly threatened, fearing Xian might exploit the situation. Si-Chen goes to the dean of Shishi's academy, donates money, and even promises to build a teaching building. The condition is to allow him to become a professor at the academy. The delighted dean quickly agrees. Si-Chen then adopts the alias Zoro and becomes Shishi's direct instructor. He starts online discussions in their field with his wife, planning to support her anonymously. Due to mental pressure and not eating properly, Shishi faints in her rented room. Luckily, Mo Xian wants to stay and take care of Shishi, but the company urgently needs him, so he quietly leaves. Meanwhile, Si-Chen receives a sick leave notice from Shishi. Seeing his unconscious wife in the hospital bed, he is heartbroken and stays up all night caring for her. Early in the morning, he sees breakfast on the hospital bed. Just then, Mo Xian arrives and thinks Si-Chen bought it, but he denies it. Shishi thinks the hospital is very considerate to know she likes soy milk and waffles. Hearing this, Xian realizes it was Si-Chen who prepared it. The two go to a restaurant, making Si-Chen restless, who then uses his Professor Zoro identity to call her to school urgently. He hires staff to act as Zoro, guiding them through an earpiece from a distance. While talking to Professor Zoro, Shishi feels something is off. She notices the shirt he is wearing is exactly like Si-Chen's and realizes her husband is behind it. The next day, Shishi pretends to have an accident and calls Si-Chen. He rushes in to protect her, immediately storming into the house. Inside, he finds his wife lounging and enjoying a glass of wine. Realizing he was tricked, he stops shadowing her and confesses he can't bear to be apart from her. Shishi understands her husband's efforts, but she is on a journey to improve herself to be worthy of standing beside Si-Chen. Understanding Shishi's intentions, Si-Chen wholeheartedly supports and respects her decision to study away from him. After 3 months of diligent studying, she returns home, and the president embraces her, easing their separation pain. The family throws a surprise party, embarrassing them both. Mother Doan excitedly suggests they should rest and teases about soon having grandchildren. To help with her daughter-in-law's career, Mother Doan brings her friends to support her, always speaking highly of Shishi. Chen Xian admires this and realizes a supportive mother-in-law is every girl's dream. However, Mother Doan notices Shiwei's feelings for Si-Chen. She meets with Shiwei privately and clarifies she sees her only as a daughter. Then she offers Shiwei a good contract to stay away from her son's personal life. This action plants another seed of resentment in Shiwei's heart. Her scheme to harm Shishi at the party has reached Si-Chen's ears. He sees this as an opportunity to confront her and cancel the fake marriage contract with Shishi. Shi Wei doesn't give up and goes to find Si Chen, realizing her plot against Shi has been exposed. She brazenly claims she did it to protect Si Chen. Seeing her lack of remorse, Si Chen is deeply disappointed in her. The childhood bond they shared has faded, and he warns that if she harms Shi again, he will show no mercy. With that, he brushes her off and walks away. Unexpectedly, she comes across the marriage contract between Si Chen and Shi. Realizing he had ignored her feelings for Shi, which she had cherished for 10 years, Shi Wei decides to expose their dramatic marriage contract to the media. As soon as the news breaks, the company's stock value plummets uncontrollably. In an instant, it falls over 5 points. Shang Ku suggests spreading rumors about celebrities to divert public attention, but Shi thinks this isn't a long-term solution. She then approaches Si Chen to discuss revealing the truth to the public together. However, their actions have already angered the shareholders. When Shi goes to their clothing store, they throw eggs and vegetables at her. At that moment, Xian appears and protects his crush. Due to the negative news, Si Chen is blamed by the shareholders. He suggests that if he can get Alex's forgiveness, the stock value will return to normal. After some discussion, they decide that if he cannot calm the public within 15 days, he must resign. While reassuring shareholders, he learns of Shi's situation and rushes to the store. Learning that thanks to Xian's help, she was not hurt. Si Chen swallows his pride and thanks him. Hearing a thank you from him, Xian feels his efforts were worthwhile. Seeing the two happy together, he quietly leaves. Perhaps for him, seeing the one he loves happy is enough. Si Chen takes Shi to a secret base from his childhood. Whenever he was stressed, he would come here to watch the city light up at night. Now, with his loved one by his side, he has more motivation to overcome adversity. Starting anew with the one he loves makes him happy. To make up for the losses, Si Chen and Shi go to Italy to find Alex. However, the secretary doesn't know his location. But thanks to an assistant who once helped them, they learn Alex will attend a dinner party tonight. They then disguise themselves as celebrities to attend the party. The security guard senses something is wrong, so Shi distracts him while Si Chen sneaks in to find Alex. Seeing Si Chen, Alex is somewhat surprised. Si Chen explains that their love initially stemmed from the contract, but over time, they truly fell in love. He knows it's wrong to use marriage for financial gain and public attention. Alex is somewhat moved but holds marriage as sacred, and cannot forgive him for signing a marriage contract for profit. Meanwhile, Shi, feeling anxious outside, accidentally revisits the place where they once wrote time capsules together. Seeing Si Chen's time capsule, Shi realizes he has liked her for a long time. He wasn't sure when his feelings changed, maybe during their trip to Milan or even earlier. In short, he now worries when she's lost and feels pain when she's hurt. He hopes that when they open the time capsules again, they will be together. Seeing the two embrace, Alex's face lights up with joy and a reassuring smile. Soon after, the shareholders' meeting arrives. Si Chen is prepared to be dismissed due to the negative consequences he caused. At that moment, Alex appears and casts the most crucial vote, allowing Si Chen to continue as chairman of the corporation. Alex's change of heart is mainly due to Shi sending him an email with the wedding dress design, incorporating her understanding and reflecting their precious love. From this, Alex sensed the genuine love between the two. Si Chen, moved, embraces the woman he loves. Despite all her efforts, Shi Wei could not win over the person she loved. Determined, she decides to go abroad for her career. Before leaving, she intentionally seeks out Shi. Instinctively, Si Chen stands in front of Shi to protect her, making Shi Wei feel bitter. Shi Wei asks Shi to speak privately. She doesn't understand how she could lose to this woman. If she truly loved Si Chen, she wouldn't have used those tactics to harm him. She wasn't in love, she was just selfish. Selfish. She would rather see him fail miserably than accept my terms. Aren't you just a different kind of selfish? But love is love, there's no winning or losing. If you want to compete, go to the endless plains of the big flotilla. Shi Wei watches from afar as the two embrace, and despite her unwillingness, she knows she is powerless. After many trials, life returns to its course. Shi organizes a fashion show for her clothing brand. Si Chen plans to take this special occasion to propose again. He waits in an elegant white suit. Unexpectedly, at the end of the show, Shi wears her beautifully designed dress. In front of everyone, she kneels and proposes to Si Chen. Though caught off guard, he quickly takes out the ring. He then vows to love Shi forever. I hope all of you will always be happy, and if love comes, try your best to pursue it so it doesn't slip away. Alright, the movie ends here. Please take 3 seconds to subscribe to support us. Thank you for watching our channel.